Dobro jutro.
I think the most important thing in life are our relationships.
Mislim, da ena najbolj pomembnih stvari v našem življenju so naši odnosi.
Most things we will not take with us into the kingdom yet to come.
Skoraj nič drugega ne bomo vzeli v kraljestvu, ki prihaja.
One thing we will certainly take with us, and that's our relationships.
Eno, kar pa bomo skoraj sigurno vzeli s seboj v večnost, so pa naši odnosi.
My stepdad just turned 92.
Moj očim je ravno kar bil 82.
And
92,
yeah. I've buried 4 uncles and aunts since I've been here.
Odkar sem tukaj, sem pokopal 4 strice in tete.
And I can tell you how things look when you get to the end of this earthly life.
In lahko vam povem, kako izgleda, ko pridete do konca tega zemeljskega življenja.
Nobody looks back and says, "Oh, I wish I would have worked more hours."
Nihče ne pogleda nazaj in reče, joj, ko bi delal še nekaj več ur.
Oh, if I only spent more time at the office.
Ko bi še preživel več časa v pisarni.
If I would have only gotten another degree, another award.
Ko bi le imel še kako več diplomo ali pa več znal.
No one has those thoughts at the end of their life.
Nihče nima teh misli na koncu življenja.
The only thing you think about at the end of your life, you will think about at the end of your life, is your relationships.
Edina stvar, o kateri boste pomislili na koncu svojega življenja, je o tem, kakšni so bili vaši odnosi.
You're going to think about your wife.
Pomislili boste na svojo ženo,
You're going to think about your
na
husband.
svojega moža,
You're going to think about your children.
na svoje otroke.
You're going to think about your grandchildren
Pomislili boste na svoje vnuke
and your friends throughout life.
in na svoje prijatelje skozi življenje.
The people that you've had an opportunity to touch.
Na tiste ljudi, katere ste imeli priložnost imeti v svojem življenju.
And people who touched us.
In ljudi, ki so se dotaknili nas.
That's the most important thing in life.
To je najbolj pomembna stvar v življenju.
And it's no wonder that this is the area that Satan attacks with the greatest power, the greatest ferocity, the greatest.
Ni čudnega ni, da je to področje, kjer Satan resnično najbolj napada.
And so it's important that we know how to protect and guard our relationships.
Zato je pomembno, da znamo varovati in zaščititi naše odnose.
I have found out over 40 years of ministry,
V 40 letih poslanstva sem ugotovil,
and as I travel all around Europe, Central Europe,
in ko sem potoval po celi Evropi, po srednji Evropi,
there's basically 4 ways that the enemy destroys relationships.
sem ugotovil, da so 4 glavni principi, kako sovražnik uniči odnose. Sorry, I'll just turn that down.
And if we do not understand these 4 strategies, these 4 areas, these 4 categories,
In če ne razumemo teh 4 področji, kjer on to počne,
it is not an issue of whether the enemy will destroy relationships.
ni vprašanje, ali bo hudič ali Satan uničil odnose.
It is only an issue of when he will destroy them.
Vprašanje je samo, kdaj bo poskusil.
Yesterday, I spent all day yesterday with a church in Zagreb.
Včeraj sem preživel nekaj časa z cerkvami v Zagrebu.
They started 20 years ago.
Začelo se je to pred 20 leti.
It's with a real small revival.
Začelo se je z majhnim prebujenjem.
And basically of what was hundreds of people, it's down to 8 people now.
In to, kar je bilo nekoč več kot 100 ljudi, je sedaj samo 8.
And they want to start again.
In radi bi ponovno
And
začeli.
they don't want to spend another 20 years learning the lessons that they did not learn the first time through.
In nočejo še enkrat se učiti teh lekcij naslednjih 20 let.
And so they're asking for help.
In zato prosijo za pomoč.
And we're beginning the process of going through these four areas, these 4
In
categories.
zato gremo skozi te 4 področja z njimi.
Normally when I'm asked, invited to come,
Ponavadi, ko me nekdo prosi in me povabi, da pridem,
it's when the church is already on fire.
je takrat ponavadi, ko je cerkev že v ognju.
Or it's already been split.
Ali pa se je že razšla,
Or it's in
torej
the-
razcepila.
Or it's in the process of being burned down.
Ali pa je v procesu, da bo pogorela.
Not long ago,
I hope it's not when we invited you.
no, actually, I had a pastor in Slovenia call me last year.
Prejšnje leto me je poklical pastor v Sloveniji,
He said, we have a crisis in our leadership,
je rekel, imamo krizo v našem vodstvu
and you need to come.
in moraš priti.
I said, when?
In rekel sem, kdaj?
He says, tomorrow morning.
Jutri zjutraj.
If you don't come tomorrow morning, there'll be nothing left of the church by tomorrow afternoon.
Če ne prideš zjutraj, potem popoldan ne bo nič več ostalo od cerkve.
And it was by God's grace that we were able to save that situation.
In po Božji milosti smo lahko rešili to situacijo.
So normally when I get a call, it's almost when it's too late.
In dostkrat, kar se zgodi, je, ko me nekdo pokliče, je takrat, ko je že skoraj prepozno.
It's
ali pa je
very
prepozno.
rare
Zelo redko je,
that I get a pastor that says, you know what, we need to come and be preventive. We need to teach these principles before there's a crisis, not after.
redko se zgodi, da ga pastor povabi, ko mu reče, jaz bi se rad te principe naročil, preden pridemo do te situacije, ko je prepozno.
So Aleš has asked me this morning to talk about one of these areas.
In Aleš me je prosil, da govorimo o enem izmed teh področij.
And it's about managing expectations.
In je o tem, kako upravljamo s pričakovanji.
Because if we do not manage expectations
Ker če ne upravljamo s pričakovanji
in our relationships,
v naših odnosih,
this is just going to be a matter of time before there's tremendous conflict and tension.
je samo vprašanje časa, dokler ne pridemo do konfliktov in problemov.
Now, expectations are like landmines.
Pričakovanja so kot neke mine, kot bombe po tleh.
They are buried under the ground.
Pokopane so pod zemljo,
You don't see where they're at
ne vidiš, kje so,
until you step on one.
dokler ne stopiš na eno.
And when you step on a landmine, it blows up.
In ko stopiš na eno mino, eksplodira.
Right? And you don't know why.
In ne veš zakaj.
And we carry these kind of expectations into all of our relationships.
In takšne pričakovanja nosimo in imamo v vseh naših odnosih.
We bring them into our churches.
Pripeljemo jih v naše cerkve,
We bring them into our marriages.
pripeljemo jih v naše odnose, torej naše družine.
And what makes them challenging, especially at first, is we don't realize that they're there.
In tisto, kar je problem na začetku, je, da ne vemo, da so tam.
We have expectations.
Imamo pričakovanja,
They're very real,
so zelo resnična,
very powerful.
zelo močna
They affect how we think.
in vplivajo na to, kako mi razmišljamo.
They affect what we say.
In vplivajo na to, kaj mi rečemo.
They determine how we react.
Odločijo, kako odreagiramo.
And many times we don't even know what they are.
In dostikrat niti ne vemo, kaj so.
How can others know and understand if we don't even sometimes understand ourselves?
Kako bodo drugi vedeli, kaj so naše pričakovanja, če jih dostikrat sami ne poznamo.
And so we need to learn how to manage these expectations.
Torej moramo se naučiti, kako upravljati z našimi pričakovanji.
And first of all, gain self-awareness,
Da najprej sami razumemo, kakšne pričakovanja imamo
and then bring this understanding into all of our relationships.
in da pripeljemo te stvari potem v vse naše odnose.
Before, I have never seen a couple divorce or a member offended and leave a church. Never. I have never seen.
Nikoli nisem videl, da bi par se razšel, torej da bi se ločil, ali da bi nekdo zapustil cerkev, ko je užaljen,
Before there was an emotional divorce first.
preden ni bila čustvena ločitev.
So before there was ever a physical divorce,
Preden torej se je zgodila fizična ločitev,
long before that,
dosti pred tem
there was an emotional divorce.
je bila čustvena ločitev.
Couples living together in the same house, but they're divorced. Their souls are divorced.
Ljudje živijo skupaj v hiši, ampak njihove duše, njihova srca so ločeni.
There's people many times that sit in churches, and sometimes for a long time they sit in churches, but their heart is divorced.
Včasih ljudje sedijo v cerkvah, ampak njihova srca so ločena od cerkve.
They're there, but their heart is gone.
Oni so mogoče fizično tam, ampak srce je nekje drugje.
And the enemy is already at work bringing division.
In Satan že dela, sovražnik že dela in prinaša razdvojenost.
So let's just apply this very quickly.
Torej, poglejmo to na zelo praktičen način.
And not just talk about our relationships in general.
In bomo govorili pač ne samo na splošno o razmerjih.
Before a young lady marries,
Preden se vsaka mlada dama poroči,
she's probably seen several dozen Disney movies.
je skoraj vsaka videla vsaj nekaj Disneyjevih risank,
And probably 300 or so what I call chick flicks, girly movies.
pa vsaj 300 in več chick flickov.
Yeah, no. And the story is almost the same,
In zgodba je skoraj vedno ista.
right? Boy and girl meet and they fall in love.
Fant in punca se srečata in se zaljubita.
And the movie always ends with what?
In s čim se vedno film konča?
With them proposing or getting married, and then the idea at the end of the movie is happily ever after. They will live.
In na koncu seveda pričakujeta večno srečo, torej zavedno bosta srečna.
And these young, beautiful girls bring all kinds of expectations into their marriage.
In te punce prinesejo cel kup pričakovanj v svoj zakon.
Thousands of ideas of what this happily ever after is going to look like.
1000 idej, kako bo izgledala ta večna sreča v zakonu.
Okay, next slide. They've been dreaming all of their life for this prince to come into their life one day.
In sanjale se o tem vitezu na belem konju, kako bo prišel v njihovo
And
življenje.
the basic expectation is that this prince is going to come, rescue me, and then I will live happily ever after.
In prišel bo ta princ, ki me bo rešil in bom živela srečno do konca
This
svojega.
prince is going to one day make me happy.
In ideja je, da ta princ bo mene osrečil.
You talk about a false, bad, demonic expectation. There's one right there. That's a big one.
In potem je tu eno zelo slabo demonsko pričakovanje, ko govorimo o njih.
Ladies, if you think that you're going to marry a man who's going to make you happy, that is an expectation that is unrealistic.
Punce, če mislite, da se boste poročile z moškim, ki bo vas osrečil, je to zelo slabo pričakovanje.
Yeah? And after a while, suddenly these expectations are not being met.
In naenkrat ta pričakovanja niso, oziroma se ne izpolnijo.
He stops looking like this.
Ne zgleda več tako.
He doesn't seem to be that strong leader that's going to take care of my every need.
Ne zgleda več kot ta močen voditelj, ki skrbi za mene.
And before long, she starts to become resentful.
In naenkrat se v njej začnejo gojiti zamire.
Things begin to start to bother her that didn't bother her before.
Stvari jo začnejo motiti naenkrat, ki je prej nikoli niso motile.
Because why?
Zakaj?
Expectations aren't being met.
Zato, ker pričakovanja, ki jih je imela, niso izpolnjene.
And if they're not managed,
In če niso
they
izpolnjene,
can become a minefield of explosives.
postane cel kup min, po katerih potem hodijo in lahko eksplodirajo.
This started to happen early on in my marriage.
To se je zgodilo v začetku v mojem
Well, all
zakonu,
of a sudden I started stepping on landmines.
ko naenkrat sem začel hoditi po minah
And my wife would blow up. She'd blow up.
in moja žena bi eksplodirala.
And I didn't know why.
Huh? It's something's about to blow up and I don't know what. Okay, noben problem. In naenkrat bi moja žena eksplodirala in jaz ne bi vedel zakaj.
And I began to realize there's something under the surface here.
In ugotovil sem, da se nekaj dogaja pod površjem.
If this goes on long enough,
Če se to bo dogajalo preveč predolgo,
suddenly she realizes that she did not marry a prince, she married a horse.
naenkrat bo ugotovila, da se ni poročila s princem, ampak s konjem.
And after a while, it's not even a horse, it's a donkey.
In na koncu sploh ni konj, ampak je
Smelly.
osel.
I
Smrdi.
didn't marry a smelly donkey, I married a prince.
Jaz se nisem poročila s smrdečim oslom, jaz
What
sem se
happened?
poročila s princem. Kaj se je zgodilo s tabo?
Expectations were not managed.
Pričakovanja niso bila izpolnjena, oziroma niso bila, kaj managed, Marko, kaj si? Obvladovana, hvala.
Now, to be fair, this goes both ways.
In seveda, to se dogaja v obe smeri.
Okay, men have expectations too.
Moški seveda imajo tudi pričakovanja.
Some of them have seen the same movies.
Nekateri so gledali iste filme.
And they're going through life as young men, young people, and they're looking for that beautiful princess that they will one day
In
encounter.
grejo skozi življenje in iščejo to princeso, to čudovito princeso, ki jo bodo nekaj
And what's
srečali.
the core expectation here? This woman, this princess is going to make me feel like a prince.
In kaj je to pričakovanje? Ta princesa bo mene sedaj izpolnila, bom jaz se počutil kot princ ob njej.
And then for a while she does.
In nekaj časa ona to
It's
naredi.
amazing.
To je
How
neverjetno.
God could bring two opposites together and how that could even work to begin with.
In neverjetno je, kako Bog pripelje dve popolnoma različni osebi skupaj in to celo deluje nekaj časa.
So God drugs us, the Lord drugs us with hormones,
Bog nas zadrugira s hormoni
right? And this is what we see,
in to je tisto, kar vidimo.
right? Princesses and princes, and everything is beautiful, and life is beautiful.
In vse je lepo in vse je čudovito in življenje je popolno.
And then life begins.
Potem se pa življenje začne.
And suddenly the princess is not meeting the needs, my needs.
In potem princesa naenkrat ne zadovoljuje moje potrebe.
My mother used to make me breakfast and lunch and dinner.
Moja mami mi je naredila zajtrk, kosilo in večerjo.
And suddenly my wife is not doing that.
Moja žena pa tega ne počne.
And I'm beginning to be a little uncomfortable with that, unhappy with that.
In to mi ravno ni všeč, to me dela ne počutim se prijetno.
Yeah, and one day I brought this up, I voiced my expectation.
In nekega dne sem povedal moje pričakovanje moji ženi.
And my wife corrected my expectation.
In moja žena je popravila moje pričakovanje.
She said that you didn't marry your mother,
In je rekla, ti se nisi poročil s svojo mamo.
you married me.
Ti si se poročil z mano.
Okay, and I'm not going to make you 3 meals a day.
In jaz ne bom naredila 3 obroke na dan.
I'll do one.
Bom naredila enega.
You make your own breakfast.
Ti si sam poskrb za zajtrk.
Okay, we have to manage the expectations.
In morala smo torej uravnati najna pričakovanja.
If we don't, suddenly the prince becomes increasingly more unhappy.
In potem se zgodi, da princ postaja vedno bolj nesrečen.
And before long, his heart begins to start to separate from his wife.
In naenkrat se začne njegovo srce odmikati proč od njegove princese.
And in a state of hopelessness, he starts to become increasingly despair, angry.
In postaja vedno bolj zagrenjen ali jezen.
And before too long, over some time, this beautiful princess begins to look a little differently. She begins to look more like this.
In naenkrat ta princesa zgleda malo drugače njemu in nima več iste podobe.
And as soon as he comes in the door after work,
In takoj, ko pride domov po delu,
all he gets is,
to dobi.
yeah? And it's not fun.
In to ni zabavno.
Right? See, we're now well on the road to an emotional divorce.
In sedaj smo že na poti proti čustveni
Ne?
ločitvi.
If this goes on long enough, it's too painful to live together.
Če se to nadaljuje, potem je preveč boleče, da bi živeli
And
skupaj.
50% of society divorces
In 50% naše družbe je ločenih,
because they were not able to manage expectations.
ker niso morali uravnavati svoje pričakovanja.
Now, this affects all relationships.
In to ni samo v zakonu, to vpliva na vse naše
It's
odnose.
kind of easy to understand this,
V odnosu je to malenkost lažje razumeti.
but everyone here brings in expectations into the church family,
Ampak vsaki pride sem, prinese pričakovanje v cerkev.
the way it should be,
Kako bi naj to izgledalo?
the things that meet my needs,
Kaj jaz potrebujem, kaj so moje potrebe?
right? We all have different opinions about the vision and the direction.
Vsi imamo različne ideje, kaj bi naj počeli, kakšna je vizija.
All kinds of expectations of the pastor and the elders,
In cel kup pričakovanj od pastorja ali starešin.
expectations of each other.
Imamo pričakovanja od drug drugega.
And if those expectations are not managed,
In če ta pričakovanja niso potem uravnavana,
it's just a matter of time before the enemy will take advantage.
da jih obvladuješ.
All right.
I'm missing a word.
Okay. So let's just go through this model now to help us to understand how expectations can be managed.
Torej, poglejmo ta model, kako lahko obvladujemo ta pričakovanja.
There is basically 4 categories of expectations. The first category is, are they spoken or unspoken?
Torej, 4 kategorije naših pričakovanj, torej 4 stopnje naših pričakovanj imamo. Torej, prve 2 sta, ali so naša pričakovanja izrečena ali so neizrečena.
Right? And if an expectation is not spoken,
Torej, če pričakovanje ni izrečeno, če ga ne povemo,
we are playing a very cruel game that the devil wants us to play.
se igramo zelo kruto igro, ki si hudič želi, da se jo igramo.
It's the cruel game of you trying to read my mind.
In to je igra, da ti probaš brati moje misli.
Huh? Can anyone in this room accurately and consistently read other people's minds?
Ali lahko kdorkoli v tej sobi konstantno in natančno bere misli drugih?
I can't.
Jaz ne morem.
That's not my spiritual gift.
To ni moje duhovno dar.
Now, I can look and see if somebody is unhappy
Lahko pogledam nekoga in vidim, če je nesrečen,
because we communicate, 60% of communication is nonverbal.
ker 60% naše komunikacije ni verbalne.
So I can tell if my wife is happy or she's not happy.
In lahko vidim v moji ženi, če je ona srečna ali
I
nesrečna.
can come to church and I can look and see if you're happy or unhappy.
In lahko pridem v cerkev in vas pogledam in vidim v večini, ali ste srečni ali nesrečni.
What I cannot do
Kar pa ne morem
is
narediti,
I cannot read your mind. I don't know why.
ne morem pa brati vaših misli. Torej ne vem, zakaj ste srečni ali
So
nesrečni.
the very first and most important thing that we must embrace as we mature,
In torej prva stvar, ki jo moramo sprejeti s tem, ko odraščamo,
God does not want us playing this cruel demonic game with each other.
Bog si ne želi, da se igramo to kruto demonsko igro, kjer poskušamo, da nam nekdo bere misli.
We have to grow up and mature and begin and learn how to express what we're feeling and express our expectations one to another in a spirit of humility and respect.
In torej, da moramo se naučiti, kako izražimo svoje pričakovanja v milosti oziroma v ponižnosti in v ljubezni.
Now, generally, this is true of women a little bit more so than men.
In tukaj dostikrat so ženske malenkost na boljšem kot moški.
The women want their husbands to be so sensitive
Žene si želijo za svoje može, da bi bili tako čustveni, čutni,
that they don't have to tell him what's bothering them.
da jim ni treba povedati, kaj jih moti.
Because if my husband loved me,
Ker če me moj mož ljubi,
if my husband was sensitive,
če bi moj mož bil dovolj občutljiv,
he would know what's bothering
bi
me.
on vedel, kaj mene moti.
Girls, does that kind of sound familiar?
Punce, a se to sliši vsaj približno
Okay.
tako?
The Holy Spirit's not teaching you that.
To vas ne uči Sveti Duh.
Okay? I believe the enemy is trying to teach us to believe those kind of lies.
Jaz verjamem, da si sovražnik želi, da verujemo take laži.
The fact of the matter is your husband can't read your mind
Ampak dejstvo je, da vaš mož ne more brati vaših
any
misli.
more so than you can read his mind.
Nič več ne more on brati vaših, kot lahko vi berete.
As we started to
njegove.
kind of wrap our hands around fixing this problem in my marriage,
ko smo se midva nekako začela učiti, kako uravnavamo pričakovanja,
we said, okay, from now on, no longer are we going to play this game, this cruel game.
sva rekla ženo, ne bova se več igrala te krute igre, da probava brati misli drugih.
There's something bothering either one of us, we will sit down and we will talk about it.
Če mene nekaj moti, se bom s teboj usedel in ti to povedal.
Just a few months ago,
Pred nekaj meseci,
after 35 years of marriage,
po 35 letih zakona,
something was bothering my wife.
je nekaj motilo mojo ženo
I can see that. I can figure that out.
in to sem lahko videl, to sem razumel.
And so I said to her, I said, Stella, what's bothering you?
In rekel sem, Stela, kaj te moti?
And after 35 years of marriage,
In po 35 letih zakona,
you know what she said?
a veste, kaj je rekla?
Unbelievable.
Ne morem verjeti.
She said,
Rekla je,
nothing.
nič.
Obviously something's bothering her.
Ja, očitno je nekaj narobe,
But she doesn't want to tell me.
ampak noče mi povedati.
She wants me to guess.
Hoče, da
Or she wants me to know,
uganem ali da nekako vem,
to read her mind.
da preberem njene misli.
I can't do that very well.
To pa ne delam zelo dobro.
Sometimes I'm lucky and I guess.
Tu pa tam se mi je zgodilo, da se mi je posrečil.
Especially if I did something obviously wrong.
Sploh, če sem naredil nekaj zelo očitno narobe.
Okay, I know.
Potem vem.
But sometimes I don't know.
Ampak doskrat pa ne vem.
And we have to make a covenant in our relationships and in our corporate church body relationship to say, we understand and we will not play the devil's game.
In v našem zakonu in tudi v skupnosti se moramo potem reči, mi se ne bomo šli te demonske igre, ampak si bomo povedali.
Just like our young people sang about love.
Tako kot so naši mladi peli o ljubezni.
Okay, we put away childish things
Za nami smo pustili otroške stvari
and we grow up.
in odraščamo.
This is all about growing up.
In vse, kar tukaj govorimo danes, je o tem, da odraščamo.
The second category is it realistic or unrealistic?
Druga kategorija naših pričakovanj so to, ali imamo realna ali pa nerealna
Just because an
pričakovanja.
expectation has been spoken
Samo zato, ker spregovorimo eno pričakovanje,
does not mean that expectation is realistic.
ne pomeni, da je to pričakovanje realno.
And we have to work our way through it.
In moramo predelati to.
Now, the worst category of expectations
Najhujša kategorija pričakovanj
is the category that's unspoken and unrealistic.
je tista kategorija, ki je neizrečena in ni realna.
This will always bring conflict
To bo vedno pripeljalo do konflikta v
and
odnosu.
hopelessness.
In tudi brezupnost.
And this is a spiritual sickness of the heart.
In to je duhovna bolezen srca.
The Bible says that hope deferred makes the heart sick. In other words, without hope, the heart gets sick.
Ja, Sveto pismo pravi, da brez upanja imamo pokvarjeno srce, bolano srce.
Many, many marriages are in this category here.
In veliko zakonov, nažalost, je v tem področju.
There is conflict,
So konflikti
hopelessness.
in brezupnost.
This is the expectation or the feelings. He will never change.
In to, kar razmišljajo doskrat, so, on se nikoli ne bo spremenil.
She will never change.
Ona se nikoli ne bo spremenila.
This situation in our marriage will never be better.
Ta situacija v najnem zakonu se nikoli ne bo popravila.
And that kind of hopelessness makes the heart sick.
In takšno brezupje pokvari oziroma naredi naše srce bolano.
That becomes so powerful a force.
To postane tako močna sila v naših življenjih,
It could cause me to see a witch instead of a princess.
da lahko vidim čarovnico namesto moje
It
princese.
could cause you to see a donkey instead of a prince.
Da vidi osla pred sabo namesto svojega princa.
Yeah?
A ne?
And this affects all of our relationships in the church as well.
In to vpliva na vse naše odnose znotraj cerkve.
We all bring expectations into the room, into the family.
Vsak prinese pričakovanja v družino.
And that's why it's important to have lots of dialogue and discussion to manage these expectations.
Zato je pomembno, da imamo dosti pogovora in dialoga, da uravnavamo ta pričakovanja.
I think soon you're going to be, again as a leadership, laying out vision, laying out core values and direction.
In s tem, ko bomo govorili o vrednotah cerkve, o viziji in prihodnosti cerkve,
That's a very healthy thing to do.
je zelo zdrava stvar, da to naredimo.
I encourage churches everywhere I go to do that.
Kamorkoli grem, spodbujam cerkve, da ravnajo na ta način.
Constantly calibrate and recalibrate the vision and the expectations.
Da ponovno presodijo in pogledajo njihova pričakovanja in vizijo, kam grejo.
Because they change over time.
Zato, ker te stvari se spremenijo skozi čas.
Okay, so once they are spoken, then we have to work and make them realistic.
Torej, potem, ko je pričakovanje spregovorjeno, potem moramo narediti realno to pričakovanje.
And ultimately the place we want to get to is, click, one more, and that is a place where the expectations are spoken and they're realistic, and that brings us to a place of peace.
Torej, tam, kamor si želimo priti, je seveda, da imamo pričakovanja, ki so izrečena in so realna. In takrat imamo mir.
Yeah? Now, studies have been done by universities around the world to say what are the top expectations that a man has and a woman has in marriage.
In študije po svetu so naredile, oziroma ne, drugi so naredili študije po svetu, in so raziskovali, kaj so najbolj pomembna pričakovanja moških in žensk.
And they found that men and women share the same 10 basic sets or categories of expectations in marriage and relationships.
In ugotovili so, da tako moški kot ženske imajo nekako 10 ključnih kategorij pričakovanj znotraj svojih
That
odnosov.
was not a surprise.
To ni presenetljivo.
What was a surprise
Kar je presenetljivo,
is that the 5 top expectations of a woman or a wife is the bottom 5 for her husband.
torej kar pa je bilo presenetljivo, je, da 5 glavnih pričakovanj, ki jih je imela žena, je 5 najnižjih pričakovanj za moškega.
And the top 5 for the man were the bottom 5 for a woman.
In tistih 5, ki so se moškemu zelo najbolj pomembne, je bilo 5 najmanj pomembnih za žensko.
Does that look like a recipe for disaster?
To zgleda kot recept za katastrofo.
Yeah? And these expectations have to be managed.
In zato moramo uravnavati, moramo urediti naše pričakovanja.
I'll just list them for you. I won't take the time to go through this.
Ne bom vam jih bom samo naštel, ne bom šel zdaj skozi vsa.
Man, what are the 5 top expectations for a woman?
Kaj je 5 glavnih pričakovanj za žensko?
Number 1, emotional affection.
Prva je čustvena affection. Čustvena navezanost, pripadnost. Tako.
Yeah? 2, conversation.
Drugo pričakovanje, pogovor.
Yeah? When I come home and I was tired at the end of the day, my wife was just ready to begin conversation.
Ko sem jaz prišel domov iz službe in sem utrujen, prva stvar, ki jo je žena pričakovala in je bila pripravljena, je to, da se pogovarja.
See, she had expectation of good, meaningful conversation.
Ona je imela pričakovanje dobrega pogovora.
Yeah, she was with the kids all day long.
Ona je bila z otroci cel dan.
I was at work all day long talking.
Jaz sem bil v službi in sem cel dan govoril.
And I didn't want to come home and sit down and talk more.
In nisem hotel priti domov in govoriti še več.
So these are expectations that have to be negotiated, have to be managed.
Ampak to so pričakovanja, o katerih se moramo potem pogovoriti in
A
jih moramo uravnati.
lot of women complain, I've heard it all through the years. My husband never talks to me.
In veliko žensk se pritožuje in pravi, moj mož nikoli ne govori z mano.
One couple here in Slovenia asked me to come visit them. I did.
In en par v Sloveniji je prosil, da prijem na obisk in sem šel.
And that's what she said. He never talks to me.
In ona je rekla, on se nikoli ne pogovarja z mano.
And I understood why.
In razumel sem zakaj.
I said, come and negotiate.
A se lahko pogajamo?
Your wife has spoken an expectation.
Tvoja žena je izrekla pričakovanje.
Now, what is reasonable for this season of life that you're in?
In kaj je zdaj razumno, do kakšnega zaključka lahko pridemo v tem
Is it
vajnem
when
obdobju?
you come home,
Ali je to, da ko prideš domov,
before you watch television,
preden gledaš televizijo,
can you sit down with your wife for 15 minutes and tell her about your day?
se lahko usedeš z njo za mizo in ji poveš, kakšen je bil tvoj dan v 15
Is that realistic?
A je to realno?
Can you do that?
A lahko to
She
narediš?
says, yes.
In je pomislil in je rekel, ja,
Okay, let's do that.
ok, pa to naredimo.
A few weeks later,
Čez nekaj tednov
he and his wife came into church.
sta z ženo prišla v cerkev,
I looked at her.
sem pogledal njo,
I saw the smile on her face,
sem videl nasmešek na njenem obrazu
and I could see there was a big change.
in sem videl, da je bila velika sprememba.
And I said, your husband's talking to you every day, isn't he?
In sem rekel, tvoj mož se s tabo pogovarja vsak dan, ne?
She said, yes, for the first time in years.
Ja, prvič po letih.
And it changed their entire, something so small changed their entire relationship.
Nekaj tako majhnega je spremenilo njun odnos.
So number 2, conversation. Number 3, women desire openness and honesty.
In tretja stvar, katero ženske potrebujejo in si jo želijo, je iskrenost in odprtost.
Number 4, financial stability.
Četrta stvar, finančna stabilnost.
Women are not designed to carry the financial stress of a marriage.
Ženske niso ustvarjene zato, da nosijo celo težo in odgovornost finančnega bremena.
And number 5, family commitment.
In peta stvar je družinska obveza ali zaveza.
They're looking for a man, a husband that's going to be a man, that's going to take care and protect the family and is going to be committed to the family.
Iščejo moža oziroma si želijo moža, ki bo zaščitil, ki bo varoval in bo ščitil svojo družino.
Does that sound about right, ladies? Some of you aren't married yet, but does this sound right?
Sliši približno prav, dame?
Okay. What about men?
Kaj pa moški?
Number 1,
Prva stvar,
not a surprise.
ni
They
presenetljiva.
have expectations of sexual fulfillment, physical fulfillment.
Prva stvar je, kar so jo dali na vrh, je, da so spolno zadovoljni ali zadovoljeni.
Second is companionship, recreational companionship, doing things together.
Druga je, da se lahko skupaj gibata, da telovadita, da nekaj počneta.
Number three, men want their wives to take care of themselves and look good.
Tretja stvar je, da si moški želijo, da se žene poskrbijo za sebe, da izgledajo dobro.
Now, obviously, that's going to change over the years. We're all going to age.
In to se seveda spremeni skozi leta, vsi se staramo.
And the expectations need to be managed as they change over time.
In pričakovanja moramo uravnavati in jih prilagajati s tem, v katerem obdobju smo.
Number four, men desire domestic support. In other words, a home that's taken care of and it's in order and clean.
Četrta stvar je nekako, da moški si želijo, pričakujejo dom, ki je urejen, ki ga nekdo ureja.
And number five, men very much have an expectation and desire, a need for admiration.
In peta stvar je, da moški si želijo, da so ocenjeni.
So to sum it up, you've heard the love and respect message. Women desire, their biggest expectation is?
Torej, slišali ste sporočilo ljubezni in spoštovanja, torej ženske tisto, kar najbolj hrepenijo, je to, da so ljubljene.
Is that the man's greatest expectation?
A je to moško največje pričakovanje?
No, the man's greatest expectation is what?
Ne, moško največje pričakovanje je,
Respect.
da so spoštovani.
So these are expectations.
To so pričakovanja.
They have to be managed.
Moramo jih uravnavati,
They have to be spoken, talked about,
moramo jih povedati in se pogovarjati o
and
njih.
they need to be managed.
In moramo jih upravljati z njih.
Now, as if that wasn't enough,
In če to ni dovolj,
expectations change over time.
če to ni dovolj, naše pričakovanja se spremenijo na podlagi obdobja, v katerem smo.
I've worked my way through this, and I'm now entering into number 6.
Jaz sem šel skozi vse te faze in zdaj se približujem ali pa sem v
I
šesti
could
fazi.
spend hours of telling you stories about what life looks like at every one of these stages if you've not yet come or arrived there.
In lahko vam ure in ure bi govoril o tem, kako izgleda vsako izmed teh obdobij, če še niste prišli v
But
njih.
the expectations change over time.
Ampak naše pričakovanja se spremenijo skozi čas.
Very, very different when you first meet and fall in love.
Zelo drugačna so, kot najprej se srečaš in se zaljubiš.
And then when you marry, it's like two rivers that come together, and it's just tremendous turbulence.
In naenkrat prijeta dve reki v eno reko in je en cel kup turbulence.
As two rivers learn how to become one.
In se dve reki naučita, kako postaneta ena reka, ki teče skupaj.
Once they become one, now a river is twice as wide and twice as fast and twice as powerful.
In sedaj, ko prijeta te dve reki skupaj, postane ta reka dvakrat močnejša, dvakrat bolj vse.
And then comes children.
In potem pridejo otroci.
And children is a game changer. It changes everything.
In otroci so tisti, ki spremenijo vse v zakonu.
I usually tell my grandson was born, I told my son and my daughter-in-law, I said, your world is now going to change forever.
In ko se je moj prvi vnuk rodil, sem rekel sinu in njegovi ženi. Sem rekel, od sedaj naprej se bo vajen svet popolnoma spremenil.
And God's design is that this is a beautiful thing.
In Božji načrt, Bog si želi, da je to nekaj čudovitega.
Okay, we're about ready to send out our second two children out of the nest.
In sedaj se žena pripravlja, da pošljeva najna druga dva otroka iz gnezda.
Landon's going to be 15 tomorrow. Michaela's already 17.
Landon jutri praznuje 15. rojstni dan, Michaela je 17 let stara.
My oldest son is 34, my daughter 32.
Moj najstarejši sin je 34 in najstarejša hčera 32.
And let me tell you, going through those years when they're small is very different than when they're teenagers.
In ko smo šli skozi obdobje z njimi, ko so bili majhni, ko so najstniki, je bilo zelo drugačno.
And eventually they're out of the nest.
In čez čas odletijo iz
And everything
gnezda.
changes again.
In spet se vse spremeni.
You know, a lot of people divorce, actually physically divorce when their children leave home.
A veste, da veliko ljudi se fizično loči, ko grejo otroci od doma?
Okay? Why?
Zakaj?
Because the glue that held the family together was the kids.
Zato, ker lepilo, ki je držalo družino skupaj, so bili otroci.
But I would argue that they were emotionally divorced long before the children ever left.
Ampak jaz bi si dovolil predvidevati, da sta bila že dlje časa čustveno ločena, preden so otroci šli.
My wife and I are managing those expectations. So when our last two children, the last two go out of the nest, it's going to be her and me. We're it.
Z ženo se že pogovarjamo o tem, ko najna dva zadnja otroka gresta iz najnega doma, smo sama, to je to.
Yeah. What about careers that begin and you go through an entire career of 30 or 40 years?
Kaj pa kariero, ko jo začnemo? In naša kariera vpliva naše življenje, ko gremo skozi njo 30 ali 40
Tremendous
let.
amount of expectation management.
Neverjetno pričakovanja imamo.
I remember when I retired from the Air Force and moved to Europe, to Maribor.
Spomnim se, ko sem zapustil letalstvo v Ameriki in sem se odločil in se preselil v Slovenijo.
It took us 2 years to talk about and work through some new expectations.
Porabila sva 2 leti, da sva se pogovarjala in naredila nova pričakovanja, ki jih imamo.
Because my wife, every time she turned around, there I am.
Ker sedaj moja žena vsakič, ko se je obrnila, tam sem bil jaz.
She started getting frustrated.
In je začela postajati frustrirana.
So I've become very used to you going to work early in the morning and coming back at the end of the day.
In bila je zelo navajena, da sem jaz šel zjutraj v službo in prišel popoldne.
And now I'm stepping all over you every time I turn around.
In zdaj pa jaz hodim po tebi vsakič, ko se obrnem.
Those are expectations.
To so pričakovanja.
We talked about it.
In smo se pogovorili o
What would
njih.
you like me to do?
Kaj bi rada, da naredim?
Move into the basement?
Se preselim v klet
And we had to work our way through.
in smo mogli se pogovoriti o pričakovanjih.
Right? And then comes the empty nest, as I said, and then finally the senior years.
In potem na koncu seveda pridemo do tega, da otroci odidejo in pridemo v starejša leta.
And this basic idea or this cycle here, a life cycle, applies to all of our relationships.
In ta cikel ni samo v družini, v zakonu, ampak v vseh naših področjih.
I could show you another slide and walk you through the basic steps of a career. If you go through a 30 or 40-year career, very different as you go through.
In lahko bi pogledali ta cikel znotraj kariere, kako se naše življenje v karieri spreminja od začetka do sredine do konca.
And when you come to the end of that cycle in a career,
In ko prideš do konca svojega cikla v karieri,
you know, your basic life's focus is to raise up and to help the next generation succeed.
je tvoj cilj, da pomagaš zgraditi novo generacijo tistih, ki prihajajo za tabo.
Yeah? It's different.
Je drugačno
And we need to understand that.
in to moramo razumeti.
Going through a life cycle in a church also goes through different seasons.
Če gremo skozi cikel in obdobje znotraj cerkve, tudi tu so različna obdobja.
And I would venture to say that nobody joins a church because they're absolutely miserable and unhappy.
In jaz mislim, da nihče se ne pridruži cerkvi zaradi tega, ker so totalno mizerni in nesrečni.
For those that come and join, they usually have something about it. The vision, they like the pastor, they like the worship, they like several things.
Ponavadi nekdo se pridruži skupnosti zaradi tega, ker jim je nekaj všeč tam, ali učenje, ali glasba, ali druženje.
But like in all relationships, just because we start happy doesn't mean that we will stay happy forever.
Ampak tako kot v vseh ostalih odnosih, samo zaradi tega, ker smo začeli srečni, ko smo prišli, ne pomeni, da bomo srečni odšli.
Because those expectations are not only powerful and sometimes under the surface,
In to je zato, ker ta pričakovanja ne samo, da so močna, ampak dostikrat so pod površjem
and also they're changing over time.
in se spreminjajo skozi časom.
So we have to constantly recalibrate our relationships.
In moramo znova in znova prilagajati naše pričakovanja.
And so what I'm a part of several different networks.
In sam sem del različnih organizacij.
One that I'm a team member of, and the leader has over the last many years been changing the direction of where he wants to go.
In ena ta organizacija, gibanje, katerega del sem, glavni vodja je zadnjih nekaj let začel spreminjati vizijo celotne organizacije.
And I've had many honest conversations with him to help him.
In imel sem veliko zelo odprtih pogovorov z njim, da sem mu pomagal.
I said the vision that people signed up for, that they committed to, is now changing.
Vizija oziroma tisto, kar ste se na začetku pogovorili, da boste počeli, se je zdaj skozi leta spremenila.
And what we said we were going to do, we are now doing something very different.
In tisto, kar smo na začetku rekli, da bomo počeli, sedaj delamo nekaj čisto drugačnega.
Not wrong, not sinful, just different.
Ne da je narobe ali grešno, ampak je drugačno.
And we have not re-articulated the vision, recommunicated the vision.
In nismo ponovno povedali vizijo, nismo ponovno povedali, kam gremo.
And that's an issue of expectation management.
In tu je ravno v tem, da uravnavamo pričakovanja.
People are going to start causing problems. Conflicts are going to start to erupt.
In prišlo bo do konfliktov, do nesporazumov.
2 weeks ago, he finally took the counsel.
In pred 2 tednoma je on končno sprejel nasvet.
He got all the team together.
Je zbral celotno ekipo skupaj.
He says, this is where we were started. This was our vision in the beginning.
To je bila naša vizija na začetku, v to smer smo šli.
This is the new vision now.
In sedaj gremo v to smer.
And for those of you that committed to that vision,
In tisti, ki ste se odločili oziroma ste se strinjali s to vizijo,
right? Vision 1.0.
Torej vizija 1.0.
You may not want to commit to 2.0.
Nočete mogoče se sedaj zavezati ali iti v drugo smer.
So pray about this.
In torej molite o tem.
And anyone that feels that this is not what they signed up for.
In tisti, ki čutijo, da to ni tisto, za kar so se oni na začetku odločili.
I want to release you with a blessing.
Rad bi vas sprostil oziroma razrešil z blagoslovom.
Yeah. And anyone that wants to go with me in this direction,
In če kdorkoli hoče iti z mano v to novo smer, v drugo smer,
then it's an opportunity to recommit to a new vision.
je sedaj čas, da se ponovno odločite
That's
za
the
to smer.
right way to do things.
To je pravi način, da naredimo
There's
stvari.
another church that I work with in Croatia.
In še ena cerkev, s katero delam na Hrvaškem.
The church started with a vision.
Cerkev je začela z vizijo, z smerjo.
The pastor got involved in some other things and ministries, and over time, the vision very much changed in a different direction.
In pastor je postal del različnih skupin in različnih ideologij in se je smer cerkve spremenila skozi čas.
And conflicts started breaking out.
In konflikti so prišli zaradi tega.
He had leaders challenging him.
In je imel vodstvo, voditelje, ki so ga izvali.
There was an opportunity for strife and conflict.
Prišlo je do konfliktov, do prepirov.
And he called me up to say, could you please come and help?
In me je prosil, naj pridem in pomagam.
And when I asked the questions, there's 4 areas that I asked questions. This is one of them. And very quickly I began to realize this was partially because of expectations not being managed.
In 4 vprašanja ponovadi vprašam vsakega pastorja, ko se pogovarjam z njim, in ta je eden izmed vprašanj. In sem hitro ugotovil, da pričakovanja niso bila izrečena, niso bila uravnavana.
The vision had changed.
Vizija se je spremenila.
And he never communicated that clearly to the rest of the church.
In tega on ni jasno povedal preostanku cerkve.
Yeah? And the leaders who said, this is what I signed up for, this is the vision, this is the direction I committed to.
In voditelji, ki so rekli, to je smer, v katero grem, za katero sem se odločil, da sledim,
We're now going in a different direction.
sedaj gremo v drugo smer.
See? And that can divide and that can split a church.
In to lahko razdeli cerkev.
And so expectations have to be managed
In zato je potrebno, da uravnavamo naše pričakovanja
in all of our relationships.
v vseh naših odnosih.
Now, for most of us, if we're uncomfortable with something, we rather not talk about it.
In za večino od nas, če nam nekaj ni všeč, če imamo problem z nečem, o tem raje ne govorimo.
It's the easiest thing to do is to say nothing and then just let this conflict grow inside of us.
Tisto, kar je najlažje za večino, je to, da pač se ne pogovarjamo o tem in potem pustimo, da to raste znotraj nas.
That's exactly what the devil wants us to do.
In to je točno tisto, kar si sovražnik želi narediti.
Because eventually that becomes toxic, it becomes poison.
In zato, ker slej kot prej to postane toksično, postane strupeno.
And it's almost impossible for someone that becomes toxic not to affect and infect everybody else.
In skoraj nemogoče je za tistega, ki nosi ta strup v sebi, da ne vpliva na druge okrog sebe.
It doesn't have to ever become like that
In ni potrebno, da se to kadarkoli zgodi,
if we manage our expectations.
če znamo povedati drug drugemu in uravnavati naše pričakovanja.
So, 4 categories of expectations.
Torej 4 kategorije naših pričakovanj
They're either spoken or unspoken.
so izrečene ali neizrečene,
They are either realistic or unrealistic.
ali so realne ali nerealne.
And we need to mature in our communication and in our relationship and our koinonia together,
In moramo rasti, odraščati v naši koinoniji skupaj,
that we learn to manage these expectations and not let these expectations manage us.
da znamo mi biti tisti, ki uravnavamo in določamo naše pričakovanja in ne da ona diktirajo nam, kdo smo.
I have one brother I've been walking with for many years, a pastor, leader,
Imam enega brata, s katerim hodim že vrsto let z njim.
and almost every year for the last many years I've just turned down my expectations.
In vsako leto pri njem sem vsako leto zmanjšal moje pričakovanja od njega.
To where right now the needle is turned all the way to 0. I have 0 expectations.
Do te mere pač, da sva prišla na nulo pričakovanj od drugega.
Which means there's nothing he can do or not do that's going to cause me to be upset.
In sva pač prišla do te točke v odnosu, da pač karkoli sedaj on naredi ali ne naredi, vpliva na mene.
And I said, I'm your friend.
Rekel sem, tvoj prijatelj sem,
I'll always be your friend.
vedno bom tvoj prijatelj,
But inside my heart, I have no expectations of you.
ampak v svojem srcu nimam nobenih pričakovanj pri tebi.
A lot of people, it's like, well, they want the pastor they want to have a deep relationship with the pastor.
Nekateri bi si radi imeli odnos s pastorjem,
Right? And if they don't have that deep relationship with the pastor,
in če tega nimajo,
maybe they started that way.
mogoče se je tako začelo,
But over time, as the church grows, that's going to change. Things are going to change.
ampak s tem, ko cerkev raste, se tudi te stvari spremenijo.
And a lot of people become discontent, unhappy,
In dosti ljudi potem postane nesrečnih ali nezadovoljnih.
because expectations are not being managed and they're not being met.
Zaradi tega, ker se pričakovanja, s kateri smo začeli, se ne uravnajo na novo obdobje.
I've asked many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people over 40 years why they left church.
V mojih 40 letih poslanstva sem vprašal resnično na stotine ljudi, zakaj so zapustili cerkev.
Because as a pastor, I want to know why.
Ker kot pastor sem želel vedeti, zakaj nekdo zapusti cerkev.
If God is leading them or sending them somewhere else, I am absolutely fine and happy with that.
Če nekoga Bog pošilja nekam drugam, sem seveda navdušen nad tem.
But if it's something that we're doing wrong or there's something that I'm doing wrong,
Ampak če je nekaj zaradi česa Če je zaradi nečesa, kar jaz delam narobe, kar delamo narobe,
then I need to know that. I want to know that
potem pa bi rad jaz to vedel,
so I can make some changes.
zato da lahko naredim nekaj sprememb.
And you know what I found in almost every instance, the people who have left?
In veste, da kaj sem gotovil v veliki večini vseh, ki so zapustili cerkva?
This is always a part of the problem.
Pričakovanja so vedno del problema.
They started happy,
Začeli so srečni
and now for whatever reason, they're not happy anymore.
in zaradi katerega koli razloga sedaj pač niso več zadovoljni.
And it's usually not because of scriptural reasons.
In redko kdaj je zaradi teoloških ali bibličnih razlogov.
It's all about emotions
Veliko
feelings.
je zaradi čustev,
that the enemy can easily manipulate.
s katerimi sovražnik zelo enostavno dela.
And that's why love is so important.
In zato je ljubezen tako
Love
pomembna.
is the glue that holds us together.
Ljubezen je lepilo, ki nas drži skupaj.
What's held my wife and I together for 35 years of marriage?
Kaj drži skupaj mene in mojo ženo v zadnjih 35 let?
Commitment, love.
To, da smo zavezani drug drugemu,
Not
da
feelings.
imamo ljubezen, ne samo da imamo čustva.
Sometimes feelings are there, sometimes they're not there.
Včasih čustva so tam,
You know,
včasih pa niso.
sometimes I look at my wife and say, man, I love that woman.
Včasih pogledam to žensko, mojo ženo in rečem, kako ljubim to
There's
žensko.
other days when I look at her and I say, I'd like to throw her out the window right now.
Včasih jo pa pogledam in si mislim, da bi jo najraje vrgel čez okno ven.
And she'll say the same about the way she sees me.
In isto bi ona rekla o meni.
Right? Those are feelings that go like this.
Ampak to so čustva, ki pač nihajo, padajo in rastejo.
But agape love is like this.
Ampak božja ljubezen, torej agape ljubezen, je pa konstantna.
It never changes.
Se pa ne spremeni.
It's God. It's who God is.
Je to, kdo Bog je.
And we want to demonstrate who God is in our churches and in our relationships.
In želimo prikazati drugim in imeti to ljubezen med nami v cerkvi.
Amen?
Amen.
Father, thank you for this time together.
Oče, hvala ti za ta čas skupaj.
Thank you, Lord, that your truth, Lord, can set us free.
Hvala, da nas lahko tvoje upanje osvobodi.
Lord, we want to embrace this area and ask Holy Spirit that you would lead us and guide us.
In Gospod, prosimo te, da tvoj duh nas vodi na tem področju,
That as a church family,
da kot cerkvena družina
you teach us how to manage our expectations.
nas naučiš, kako uravnavamo svoje
That we
pričakovanja.
would have honest and sincere and open communication.
Da imamo jasno in čisto in odprto komunikacijo.
And that you'd give us the maturity to adjust any unrealistic expectations in our hearts.
In da nam pomagaš prilagoditi kakršnekoli nerealne pričakovanja.
Towards the church,
Pričakovanja proti cerkvi,
towards ourselves,
glede sebe
towards each other.
in glede drugih.
Holy Spirit, we thank you
Sveti duh, hvala ti,
that by your power
da po tvoji moči
and your grace,
in po tvoji milosti
you can make your kingdom a reality in our midst.
lahko ti narediš svoje kraljestvo realnost med nami.
In Jesus' name,
V Jezusovem imenu.
amen.
Amen.